Welcome back to the chat room at Tyrant Studios.
Coming to you high above the legendary penthouse in downtown Vancouver.
The chat room is recorded before a live studio audience. Listener discretion may be advised. And we're presented by Resurrection Spirits,
so good.
handcrafted spirits
Tasty.
in East Vancouver on Franklin Street. Makes some amazing stuff.
And I must say, a very live studio audience today.
A very live studio audience, yes. And we thank all of our great sponsors. Tyler Zickel. I always get this title wrong. So Tyler is with the Vancouver Canadians. The title is
Manager of Broadcasting and Media Relations, or Friendly Neighborhood Radio Guy.
Friendly Neighborhood Radio.
I love it.
And you are friendly, and you are in the neighborhood. I live very close to the Nat Bailey Stadium. I know you were just down in Florida for the Blue Jays spring training. First thoughts. How's the team, do you think, looking this year?
Vibes are high, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Everybody in camp, of course, coming off that deep run, doing a great job of maintaining that excitement. John Schneider, who's, of course, a former Canadians manager, he's got all the guys feeling great. Lots of our Canadians alumni who've come through the Nat in the last couple of years are now contributing at the big league level. Trey Savage, of course, is the headliner, but Addison Barger, Davis Schneider, Mason Fluharty, all sorts of guys. And who knows from this year's crop who's going to make the Blue Jays sooner rather than later.
Where were you for that heartbreaking loss to the Los Angeles Dodgers? I know where I was, and I know my reaction. Where were you, and what was your reaction?
I had just gotten back from covering the 3 games in Los Angeles. I had a media credential, so I was able to be there on behalf of the Canadians, soaking it all up. And I thought after that 3rd game in LA, the Blue Jays have this wrapped.
Sure.
We're bringing a championship back to Canada. And then you watch those games. I live in the off season down in Portland, Oregon with my wife and our son. We're watching those games, and to be 2 inches from a World Series championship, of course, devastating, heartbreaking. But the hunger is still there for 2026.
That was hard to watch. When that ball got stuck,
that was ridiculous.
Forget about it.
Yeah.
Once you saw the ball get stuck,
I didn't know there was such a rule. I had no idea. I'm going, what the hell?
One in a million.
Hell?
1 in a million.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay, so last season, we were fortunate to, even though he was only up for a cup of coffee, Trey Savage played for the Vancouver Canadians. Arjun Namala, who is, I believe, the shortstop of the future, a good kid. Again, this is the single A, high A franchise of the Toronto Blue Jays. Is it decided yet who will be playing at the Nat this season?
We have our tentative roster, which isn't public yet, but what I can share is we're going to see 16 familiar faces from last year, including some names you may have just mentioned. Whether I can confirm or deny is up to, my boss's boss.
Right.
But then also some exciting young prospects. One name I can share, left-handed 19-year-old named Johnny King, who's one of those top-ranked prospects, along with Arjun Namala.
That's a star name.
Really good name.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to welcome him for his high A debut, and it's going to be a complete roster that's managed by Jose Mayorga, who's our second-year skipper. He was the manager for Team Panama in the World Baseball Classic earlier this month, so he's got that championship pedigree. He knows what it takes to win at the highest level. He's going to skipper our guys for year 2.
So a lot is being made about food at ballparks. It's unique to the sport of baseball. Do you have any crazy food items at Nat Bailey Stadium this year? Do you know?
Well, you guys know about the yard dog, of course.
We talked about that previous episode with Walter.
And the milkshake.
The milkshakes are coming. Triple O's has installed their own miniature stand. It's actually not quite so miniature. It's quite large for our ballpark. But as soon as you walk in that home concourse right there behind home plate, you'll see the Triple O's green. You can get burgers, fries, chicken, and the milkshakes. First time we've ever had milkshakes at the Nat. And to go with the yard dog this year, we're doing yard nachos, a 3-foot-long trough of nachos.
Where did Chappie and I sign up?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We might get you guys for the first ever yard nachos opening day, April 7th. And if you can do a yard dog and the yard nachos, I may question your sanity, but I will have some respect for you.
We'll have an award. And you'll be carried as
let's see John's
included.
Yeah, off of the corner. Yeah.
So we had Nathan Rourke, the quarterback of the BC Lions, on the show, and he was saying, I guess it was last season, he threw out the first pitch of the game. He couldn't remember if he threw a strike. I'm guessing that means he didn't throw a strike, because I think if you threw a strike, you would know that.
It's a point of pride for sure.
Yeah.
Any idea who might be throwing out some ceremonial first pitches this year?
I was actually just talking to Matt before I hopped on. He said we'd like to get Nathan back out there to throw another pitch.
Do it again.
So right down the middle.
Yeah.
And we've got all sorts of special dignitaries planned. James Paxton, Big Maple's coming at the end of the year. He'll throw out a first pitch. Kevin Pillar is going to be there for Blue Jays Day.
Superman.
That's June 11th, if my memory serves. My memory's fallible, fellas. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
And all sorts of stuff. You never know who's going to be at the Nat. Last year, Alan Rick and Matthew Broderick were there for the 7th inning stretch. So it was like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, too.
Danny's got a hell of an arm here, so I wouldn't.
So, my son Cameron actually threw a first pitch out there.
Did he really?
When they were in the when he was 12 years old, they were going for the Canadian World Championship.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Threw one right down the pipe, I must say.
Manny,
So,
keep
yeah.
your arm hot. We may need you for a first pitch this
There we
year.
go. I'm ready.
And I'm guessing a lot of nooners at the net, fireworks nights, the whole thing. Is the outfield, the last time I was out there was last season, but you were working on like down the third base line, the outfield there, you were building something. Is that close to completion?
So it's right on the cusp, actually. So that's where the barbecue area used to be on the right field side.
First base
And
line.
so now the home clubhouse, which has historically been on the third base side, we're swapping it over to the first base side this year. That 2-story building will feature the first floor for the team, clubhouse, commissary, meeting room, weight room, all that stuff. It is, I was in there yesterday. It is big league quality.
Unbelievable.
And then the rooftop will be a patio that's open for both public, like fans who have a ticket to the game, and private groups who come out to the net.
This is a next step. This is next for that baseball. Never mind the stadium, how nice it is, and the view and all that. This is next step, big level.
Well,
100%.
Without putting you on the spot, I mean, I've lived here all my life, and it's always referred to as the prettiest little park in baseball, which I believe it is. I haven't seen anywhere near the parks you've seen. Some of them are like, are you kidding me? And then people come to Vancouver, they go, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be like that.
100%. I used to work for the Blue Jays AA affiliate in New Hampshire, which at the time was many levels above the Canadians when
That
the
would be-
Seas
that
were
would be
rookie
the
ball.
Fisher Cats.
The Fisher Cats. You know your stuff, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even years after playing in Vancouver, guys would be in AA saying, gosh, Vancouver, the Nat, all the various places you can go around town, all the great scenery. And now that we're high A, just a few rungs below the big leagues, guys are just raving about the Nat when they get all the way to Toronto. So it's a point of pride for us. And at the Canadians, of course, we view ourselves as not only a baseball team, but stewards of a historic building. It is Rogers
It's a
Field
point
and
of
Nat
pride for
Bailey
the city.
Stadium.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we are very much cognizant of how important the building and the franchise are to the city.
And I think also, did you not come off a season where there were remarkably few rainouts last year?
The fewest we've ever had.
The fewest you ever had.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed that we have that again.
Yeah.
When does the season start?
We're starting a week from today on the road down in southeastern Washington and Pasco, but the home opener is April 7th.
7th, yeah.
And then we've got that's 6 games, Tuesday through Sunday, April 7th through April 12th. Then we're back 2 weeks later for a 2-week homestand that begins that last week of April, goes into May. And we've got 66 home dates this year. So a great chance for fans to come out, enjoy themselves. I'll tell you what, a Friday nooner at the Nat, a Fortis BC nooner is my favorite way to spend a Friday afternoon. But fellas, this is my first time here. This is very, very close to being my new favorite Friday afternoon hangout.
I love it. Appreciate that.
Maybe we'll talk and take the show on the road at Matt Bailey Stadium.
Love to have you.
That'd be cool.
Tyler Zickel, let's congrats on all you do. Let's have a great season. By the way, the Jays kick off this afternoon. I'm taping the game. Don't want to see the score.
Yeah.
What do you think the Jays season is going to be like this year?
I think the Jays are really going to continue their success of last year. Remember last year they were a 500 team in April and May, and then in June they turned it on. I think longer season of success for John Schneider's bunch, and you know we're dyed-in-the-wool Blue Jays fans over on Ontario Street, but most importantly, let's go Canadians.
You bet.
Better
Excellent.
year. The Jays without Bo, the Mets with Bo. Better year.
Oh, I'm going the Jays, Joe. I'm a company man, so it's Jays all the way.
That is correct. That is the right answer. Tyler Zickel, thank you, my friend.
Thank you, fellas. Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you.
That's great.